All right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those boxes at your LCS, those just forgotten about, underappreciated, undervalued, and sometimes underpriced books that you can go and liberate from those back issue bins and, do all right for yourself. I try to hit up all different types of topics, from artists to first appearances to some variants, second prints, later printings, some nostalgia stuff, some oddity type stuff, all the weird little things that I personally like to collect. And I'm just sharing some of these weird little things with you guys. And you guys take the information for what it is. I'm going to give you the market of how much things are selling for, how much things are people asking for, and you make the call for yourself. If you find it at your shop, whether you want to buy it or not, it's up to you. You base the price off of what you are willing to pay, not what I tell you, what you're willing to pay. That all said, we're going to get to that in a moment. But before we do, I want to give a thank you to Stepford Wolf Comics, who is generously providing us with a book to give away. This is, if you know Astro Wizard, this is his wife, who is also an artist. These two have collaborated a few times on some original art covers, as well as done individual ones for themselves, and they are phenomenal. They're fantastic. So, she won a prize on SNS Saturday Night Special just a couple of weeks ago. She won one of their giveaways. And as a thank you and give back to the community, she is providing us with an original art cover that we are going to be sharing here just in a minute. What you're going to need to do for this giveaway is to make sure you go and follow Stepford Wolf Comics on IG. Follow her IG page. You can see all the things she's worked on. She's even done some, progress updates on some of her work. It's awesome stuff. If you like art and appreciate art, as you know that I do, that's partly why I do the quick artist retrospective at the top of every show, then go and check her out. And like I said, give her a follow on Instagram. That's what you need to do to make sure that you are entered for this giveaway. She's also going to post something about this giveaway on her IG. Just simply comment there too, as well as give her the follow. So this way we know that we can pick you up for the giveaway, which we will announce probably next week. I'm going to give you guys a few days. I'm going to mention this on a couple of the other shows to kind of get you guys over there. Make sure you're giving her a follow and give you time to comment on that post so we can, run a wheel and give you guys the book. Plus, the book is on its way to me, so I can show it to you live once I get it before the giveaway. But for now, here, I'm going to give you a taste. Here's a little bit of a taste of her art. This is a recent book. She does a lot of like real portrait type style, like looks like the person, not caricatures, not cartoony stuff. Like you look, this is Vincent Price and this is Elvira. Like this is excellent stuff. This is Tupac and Biggie in Heat. Like this is in the manner of the cover box for Heat. I'm a big fan of Heat. I'm kind of dig this, and plus it's on East of West. There's a lot of cool things about this. Astro and her, they come up with fun ideas to do some of these books. Like I know I got that Moon Knight with the I got Moon Knight on the front of a Poe Dameron book from Astro that I gave away on the channel previously. So that's the kind of fun stuff that they like to do. And again, these original art covers, these are one-of-a-kind items. These are one of a kind. So we're going to be giving away one for free. Here is the Department of Truth. You can see, the Marilyn Monroe. Awesome, right? Ahsoka. This is, I believe, a combo between the two, because Astro does more of that kind of graffiti style and a little bit more, artistic license, if you will, whereas his wife does more of the portrait style, where you can see that looks like Rosario Dawson. There's no confusing it. Like, who is that? Like, you can see it immediately who that is. But the book that she's giving away, it is going to be another Star Wars book, and it is going to be this book right here. This Yoda cover on this issue of Star Wars. You see R2 in the back, you got Luke in the back. So we are getting this Yoda original art, individual, one-of-one cover. We're going to be giving this away. Like I said, I'm going to get the book this week, most likely. Astro already shipped it, so it should be showing up any day now. If I get it, I can show it on when I record some of the other shows. Maybe I'll show it on the tax show on Wednesday so you guys can see the actual book. But for now, remember the important thing. The important thing for this giveaway is to help Stepford Wolf Comics kind of grow her IG. Make sure you go over, give her a follow. Comment on the post she's going to put up there sometime on Monday, and throughout the week, I'm going to let you guys go back to it, because I'm going to mention this on a couple of the shows here on the channel that I do the recorded stuff. And then next week, probably over the weekend when I record the next Hidden Gems, we'll run it. So you guys will have at least through Friday. You guys will have at least through Friday to enter by giving her a follow, just commenting on the post she's going to drop, and just get yourself in for this free giveaway, which again, I'm going to ship it all on me. It's on my dime. She's done all the work. Give me this gorgeous piece of art on this cover, and we're just going to give it to one of you viewers for free. Simple, simple stuff. That's all you got to do. Now, with that all said, hopefully you're enjoying this, as well as all the other stuff here on the channel. Hope you appreciate the giveaways. I know I did a number of them for 2K, and this is the type of stuff we would love to do going forward. I just love giving stuff out, sharing with the community. It is makes me feel good. Comic karma and all that stuff. But thank you again. If you like what you see here, comment. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Look at the join button. Consider if you want to join as one of our members and get some exclusive stuff and some extras outside of the norm. Take a look at the little bits below. And if you want to see the books that I do have to talk about this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro and we will get right to it. All right, so for this week, let's take a look at, as I said, we start every week off with the artist retrospective. And I know you probably would have guessed we were going to do a Stepford Wolf's artist retrospective, but we're not. We're going to be doing another one. You got to go and make sure you go and follow her IG so this way you can get in on that giveaway. But for this week, our quick artist retrospective is going to be looking at another female artist and one that kind of popped in the last year or two. And now she's kind of receded back into the she's just another cover artist out there where she was once the next hot thing and now she's another cover artist, but she has a very, very unique style. But some of those books just came out like very hot when they first dropped. And the book that put her on the map, I would say, would have been this Spider Woman. And who I'm talking about is Rose Besch, if I'm pronouncing her name properly. Hopefully I am. But this Spider Woman is a fantastic. I know some people comment about, oh, look at the size of her thighs are too thick. I don't know. I dig this. I love this kind of style. This the Japanese anime manga kind of vibe. I like it. I dig it. The hair on this, I love it. I have this book. I got it in 9.8. It's not going anywhere. It's my book. It's my copy. And this thing got pricey right out of the gate, and it's still kind of pricey now. But this is the kind of book that kind of like I said, announced her arrival onto the comic book scene. Following that one up, we had this other cool cover, but this one's actually come down since then. This silk cover with the, you got the kind of hip hop style with the, the looks like old school Air Jordans, but they're not. It's just just some sneakers, but still, this silk cover is really, really cool. I did have a couple of these. I think I gave away or sold one, and I have my copy. That's it. But this one came out in 2021, and it's actually come down. Like when it was released and coming out, it was like, hitting double ratios, because this is a 1 in 25, mind you, for silk number 2. But now this thing could be found for, $17.50, $25. So it's kind of at ratio. And somebody got a 9.8? A 9.8 for only $31. Again, auctions. Watch those auctions. You might be able to steal yourself a book for really, really cheap, because I'm sure that seller expected more than $31. So they should have just done it as a, buy it now with the best offer and fielded some offers. They probably would have done much better than putting a book like this at auction, because nobody's looking at this stuff right now. Nobody's talking about Rose Besch these days. Again, it's a sin. Like, I don't know. I get it. Her style's not for everybody, but it is very unique, and it is a signature. Like, I could see her art and I know that's her. And I dig that. I like when I can recognize an artist's work and I can appreciate them for what they do. And this is her wheelhouse, and I like it. That said, available copies are still a little bit over ratio in that $33, $37 range. And look, a 9.8's only $80, accepting best offer. But I'm sure that seller will probably get more than that $31 when that eventually sells. Just saying. She's done a number of incentive variants on top of this. We have some DC stuff here with that black and gold Wonder Woman, which is very, very pricey, while the others here are not. The Harley Quinn and the Batman, I think it's 117. Just as some examples, just kind of showing you this stuff, because you're not going to all find all of these just in a box. These are incentive variants. They usually don't cover these higher ratio at 125 and up, because they're not as easy to find, especially as back issues. Like, they usually get sold the week they come out, and we just don't see them again until you hit, like, online. You got to buy off eBay or the secondary market. Usually not at your shops, but that said, you can still see even online on eBay, some of these can sell for very cheap. Look, that Harley Quinn number 18 is a 1 in 25, $750 at auction. I know a lot of these books have a lot of exclusives, like store exclusives, and then the incentive variants are plentiful, as those shops get a number of those copies when they order their store exclusives. They get a number of the incentives as well, and that can make the market seem pretty flooded all at once, as they just go to sell these as for whatever they can get, basically, because the point of what they're doing is to sell their store exclusives. The incentives are really a side effect, and they're not as concerned half the time with those. I mean, sometimes the books get hot and they still sell for a lot, but a lot of times you can see the market could drag these things down to, look, $8 for the Batman 117. But meanwhile, that Wonder Woman Black and Gold, which was kind of under ordered, not a lot of people were reading it, secondary series for Wonder Woman, that like a I think it was a mini, might have been a maxi series, but I think it was a mini. But this issue 5, she did the 1 in 25 there, and you can see this still selling for $200. So there are still some fans out there of her work and searching for these harder to find type books. Again, on the market, you can see that gold, the Black and Gold is still 185 plus shipping. Meanwhile, the Harley Quinn's like $18, and that Batman looks like the same seller. You can still get it from there for $8. So those are 1 in 25s you can go and scoop up. And she's also done some store exclusives and some convention exclusives as well. We have that Wonder Woman, which was, I believe, a New York Comic Con exclusive for the 80th anniversary. So that 100-page giant. Pretty cool cover. It's an homage to, what is it, 72? I think it's 72. I can't remember. You guys know the cover I'm talking about. I think it's Brian Bolin. Pretty cool cover from back in the day. But that's a nice little homage there. This Batman 108 was one of her first store exclusives. I know I ordered, I think, 2 sets, and I think I gave away a set at one of our giveaways, and I still have a set around here somewhere. Because again, I dig her art. I thought it was cool, and I grabbed these. And then there's another store exclusive for Red Sonja. I think it's like Immortal Red Sonja or something like that. I don't even remember the name of the title. But the point being, these things are out there still too, and you can see them selling for pretty cheap, really, even under what the initial ask for. Look at those Batmans. Usually those Batmans would have been selling for $15 for trade dress and maybe like $40 for the sets of the two. By and large, that's the general ballpark number of those store exclusives were at a time. Now there's a lot of them that are asking for more than that these days, but look, at $10.99 and even at $20, that's not too bad with free shipping. And then $33 for that Wonder Woman homage. Then we look at what's only asking $25, asking only $6 to $9 for that other Batman. So some of these things you can still get for pretty cheap if you're a fan of her art and you want to grab some of these harder to find books. Because again, this wasn't on the shelf for everybody. Some of these exclusives they're limited, so you got to get them online for the most part, unless you live near the area where they were released. The online's really going to be the only way to go. And sometimes people end up charging you an arm and a leg to get some of these. Not to say all store exclusives go up in value, because they rarely do. That usually only happens 1 out of every maybe 10 or 20 really pops. The rest of them just kind of, they dribble out like this. So only get the ones that you like. You like the art, you like the cover. Put your money there. Otherwise, don't invest in a store exclusive. That's my personal advice. I mean, you do with it what you will. I don't invest in store exclusives. I buy them when I like them because I just want to add the book to my my collection. That said, let's move on and go to her first work. Her first work is actually like a decade ago. Maybe not a decade ago. Oh, I'm overstating. 2015. 2015. All right, so it's like 7 years ago. Still, it's a pretty long time ago when you consider she's only hit this scene as a cover artist in the last year or two. So for this book way back in 2015, this Bee and Puppy Cat #9, this thing has gotten pretty pricey as people rushed to this book once they discovered that this was her first work. I looked for it. I tried to find one. Couldn't find this particular one. But maybe one day I'll stumble across it. So still keep an eye out for it. It's still an odd little thing. And it still does okay. Look, it's still selling for $60, $75, about $80. That's what the recent sales in the last couple of months have been raw for this book. Meanwhile, asking prices $90. There's a lot of other Bee and Puppy Cat books asking for almost $200. And then there is a 9.8 asking $1,400 for this particular book. It's a pretty steep price. But how many 9.8s are out there? I don't know. Probably not many, because this is an oddball title, and you just want it for this cover art, this cover work. Again, very unique style. I get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I like it. I like it. That's it. Let's move on to some of the cover runs that she's also done, just to kind of show you some stuff you could still kind of get for cover price or less for most of these. She did 5 issues at least of this NYX book for Dynamite. She's done a lot of Dynamite work. These are like BEC covers for the most part, regular ratio kind of things, not ratio, regular open order type books that Dynamite does a number of covers. I mean, if you know Dynamite by now, you know they usually have at least 3 different cover artists doing work, and then they do variations on that each book like 5 different times. Like there's a black and white, there's a trade dress, there's a virgin, there's a partial color, there's it'd be a headache. All kinds of different ratios. It'd give you a headache to try to figure it all out. That's it. NYX, she did a few covers. Some of these are really cool. I mean, again, I like it. I like this style, this anime kind of style. I dig it. These are some really cool covers. And if you could find them for cheap, maybe you could find them at a dollar bin and get lucky. But a lot of these you can see still sell for only like $3, $4. It's basically cover price still, cover price or less. So things you might want to consider if you are a fan of her art. I'm not saying these things were going to be, long-term investments or anything like that. Just get it because you like it. I mean, who knows? I mean, they could go up in value someday, and then these become hard to find and sought after. But that's not why I'm telling you to look at these. These are more, this section is just to appreciate the artist. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just showing you the market just so you can see what it's going to cost you if you want to go start collecting some of these artists that I'm talking about. And you can see here, even asking prices are $2 to $4. So cover price, half cover price. Not expensive. She also did some covers for Vampirella Unholy, which is the storyline with Vampirella and Dracula. Adam Hughes did some covers on this run as well, but she was also in the mix of the cover artists on this, like with the BCs, whatever you want to call it. But she did, 6 issues on this. So the first six issues, I think it ran a few more after that. But this was, again, 2021. These are all recent stuff. You might even still be able to find it on the shelf at your shop. But just really cool, like really cool stuff. Different perspectives, different angles. I know people will say, well, it all looks the same. You look at this doesn't all look the same. I get it. The stylized, big-eyed anime kind of character is the same, but these are different perspectives. There's some tricks and things being done here with the layouts that, again, I appreciate. I appreciate the art. That said, moving on here with this is, again, $4 for the most part. These are copies are selling online for. So that's cover price. Still at cover price. Asking prices are less. Look, this cover right here we're looking at, which I really dig on issue 4, $2.10. And then $7. Some of them can go a little over cover price. But for the most part, these are still cover or less things you can still go and grab. Just like you can still get this Sheena run that she also did. This is definitely has this more of a cartoony vibe here with this, especially this issue 1. But she did a whopping 10 issues on this. And this is all like this year, this stuff. So check out some of these covers if you like her art. Like I said, it's not all the same. There's some with the backgrounds and how they interplay with the bold lines, making the character pop. Like it gives me that like Joe Mad kind of vibe a little bit. And I'm a big Joe Mad. I can't say his name properly, so I'm just calling him Joe Mad because I always stumble and mumble it. So just go Joe Mad. But she has that, as you can see here, like that bold outline work that is same with that manga, anime type vibe, and I like it. So with these, same story as the last. These are only $2 to $4. Cover price, half cover price. You might find them in the dollar bins. Who knows? Even the asking prices are really still around cover for any of these. And she did, like I said, 10 issues on this one. Another series that she did a few books on, not just Dynamite. I know those were a lot of Dynamite books, a lot of Dynamite to swallow, but here's some DC stuff she did as well. She did 4 issues on DC Future State Gotham. Here's just some examples of some of the covers that she did. Again, they don't all look the same to me. To me, this is just like any other artist. So I know, I keep saying that because that's the biggest complaint. Oh, they all look the same. They don't. But if you like it, go ahead and look for these. These are $5 cover price. $5 if you want to buy them off the shelf. So to find them online for $4, $1.41, $2.35, these are still cheap things that you can get if you appreciate the art. Asking prices $2.95 to like $5, so up to cover. But again, cover price and less is really what we're talking about, including this variant for Miles Morales number 27. This is right before the Clone Saga is about to start. Pretty cool book. You got Miles there with I forget what's her name, the female Dr. Octopus character, I guess, there with him. But this thing, again, $5, $3, not expensive for what it sells for. Asking prices $5 to $7. something you could still find out there. But this is one of those ones, since it is a variant and it's a Marvel book and it's a Miles book, this is something to keep an eye on because these are the things people start to go hunting for later down the line. Dynamite's a little bit of a different story. It takes a different type of collector that wants to go and dig and find all of those. Sure, there are plenty of collectors of Jenny Frison and and other artists who did some of those covers from back in the day for Dynamite that get pretty expensive. Lucio Perillo is another one for those early issues. So maybe for that reason, these Rose Besch books become desirable a couple years down the line as more people appreciate her art. But yeah, we'll see. Here's another book to throw out there. This is a 1 in 100. So again, it's not what I normally do on this show, but it's a 1 in 100, but it's a 1 in 100 that is also the same as there's a trade dress version. It's a regular one, but the 1 in 100 is the virgin, and it's just something out there that you could see here. Pretty cool. It gives almost like a watercolor vibe a little bit here. $35 for a 1 in 100 is what one sold for, and even just $125, 9.8 graded. So that's not too bad for 1 in 100 to be just a little over ratio to get a 9.8 slabbed one. And asking prices, you can see, are still kind of in that $85 to $100 range. So they're still kind of right around ratio. But you can see copies can come up for cheaper, that $35 sale. So just something to keep an eye on. Be mindful of. Look for her stuff if you appreciate it. So that's what I got for you for this week for the artist retrospective. And now I'm going to hit you up with a few first appearances. Yeah, I figured let's do a little more first appearance. We did a couple last week. I'm going to leave variants, I think, off the books this week. We're going to do first appearance in a couple other segments. But first appearances this week, I'm going to kind of focus in on, no, don't worry, no more Savage Dragon. I know you guys are probably tired of Savage Dragon stuff, but I'm going to go over to Vertigo. So I'm going to go with some Vertigo stuff of some, sort of Vertigo. The first one's actually more the Helix brand. And what I'm talking about is Transmetropolitan. So Transmetropolitan, Spider Jerusalem, it's a classic. And now at this point, it's really a classic run. It's a classic title. Maybe this is something they end up adapting on one of the streaming services, as it seems like we're getting everything adapted these days, especially like quality things. So this may be something we see somewhere down the line if they can figure out a way to make it affordable, I guess, because, futuristic tale, all that kind of thing. But the character I want to bring up here first, because his still pretty cheap and something you want to watch. If they ever do something with this, the villain, basically one of the main villains of the series here, Gary Callahan, a politician in the storyline, this is probably something you want to keep an eye on. Going back to, what is this, 1998? This is Transmetropolitan number 13. So hitting up year 2 of the series. So it's not like a first issue, which is going to be, pricey because it's issue 1 and all that stuff. But issue 13, this is something you could find out there. And in this issue, he's in a number of panels, but a lot of them are just kind of advertisements showing you like the character on TV and stuff. But definitely something you want to keep an eye on. Again, the reason why is because what's sold? None sold. None sold. But even if you want to go shopping for it, it's only $4 to $5. It's a very cheap first appearance here for you. So something just to keep in mind if you want to go look for something different, or you find yourself in those, like I said, those Vertigo type boxes. I guess, this was a Vertigo series, but I know it started with Helix, but you know what I'm saying. So if you want to have something a little different to go and hunt, go and try to find, challenge yourself, go look for some Transmetropolitan books for cheap, including his bodyguard. Another side character, another character we would see if they were ever to adapt this. We would see Shannon Yarrow again in that run. So why not look for her first? And her first is one of those early issues, but not issue 1. Her first is in issue 3, I believe here. Is that what I'm looking at here? Yeah, issue 3, 1997. So you can see her here appearing with all these other, females in this establishment. But that all said, it's a decent read. I haven't read the whole run. I didn't read the whole series. I have the trades. I got to get around to it. It's one of those things I got to get around to. But still, a book you could find for cheap. Look, the issue 2, 3, and 4, I think, in a lot, $3.25. So that's $1 a book. Even online, these things could sell for an asking price. Well, the asking prices, meanwhile, could be $12 to $28 for this early issue. But you can see, keep an eye out. You can even find them for cheap online, but I'm not telling you to find it online. I'm telling you to go check your shops, go support your LCS, and go dig in those back issue boxes and see if you can find yourself something that's just, sitting there for next to nothing. You never know. It's just, like I said, forgotten stuff, oddball stuff that maybe you can still go and pull out of those back issue bins. Support your LCS. That's what I'm telling you to go do and dig. So those are my two Transmetropolitan first I just wanted to throw out there. And now I got two that I want to throw out to you from 100 Bullets, which is another series I think might have gotten optioned at some point down the line. If not, it should have been. Maybe it still will be. But Lano. So Lano, you got a spin-off series of his other brother Lano, spin-off series of his own. This is another character that you might want to keep an eye on in case they ever do bring this to, two screens somewhere. His first was in this issue 5 from 1999, unnamed in this issue, mind you. You see the character here introduced, pretty, you know, kind of a psychotic, a little bit vicious in how he handles things, but interesting character, and one of those things that would be like a fan favorite, if you will. If they were to bring this to screens, probably be one of those fan favorite type characters. So for issue 5 on its own, couldn't find any recent sales. Keep an eye out for lots. These things still do sell in lots, and they sell for pretty cheap. But individually, what I can find available, it's like $7 to $15. But like I said, I know I've seen tons of 100 Bullets in the dollar bins, tons of it. I've grabbed a bunch. I have them piled in here somewhere because I was trying to get a whole run for just $1. But there's still tons out there. So just keep an eye out for a couple of these. Again, it's just kind of for fun. But who knows? Again, it's for fun, but at the same time, who knows? If this ever gets moved forward or adapted, it could be something. Just saying. But like I said, he's not even named in this issue 5. So another one just kind of for fun. I like this cover. And when we do get his name, is his next appearance in issue 8 of the series. So here we see him meeting with Graves, and we finally find out that his name is Lano. So if you want that. But I don't think first name is an important thing. Like I said, I dig this cover. And if you want more of a story and to see it kind of continue, get a little bit of origin and type stuff, then you want to grab this issue. But try to get it in a lot. Try to find it in those dollar bins, those cheap bins. Read it. It's a great read. So get it for that reason. But this book, again, is also pretty cheap. It's like $4. Recent sales, asking prices $3 to $6. Nothing expensive. And then we got another character to bring up. This is like the second in command to Agent Graves. So another one of the Minutemen, Cole Burns. It's another character where if we were to get a series, they probably would cast this person. We'd see them. They'd probably have a decent sized role in a series if they were to do it. That said, his first is also sort of early in the run. I mean, 100 Bullets ran, I think, 100 issues, but issue 9. So following issue 5, issue 8. So here's issue 9. You get the first appearance of Agent Cole Burns. So this is another one, not too expensive. Look, a copy sold for 99 cents at auction, and then one sold in a lot with that issue 8 that I mentioned. Look, issue 2, 8, 9, 17, and 18. So 5 issues for $7.50. Lots of these sell for pretty cheap. Collect that way. If you have to buy it online, look for those cheap lots. Otherwise, like I said, go scour the dollar bins. Go check those back issue bins for cheap books and see if you find something like this. This is only $3 to $5. It's not an expensive book. I'm telling you to go and find. I'm not telling you to go spend a ton of money on this. I'm just saying if you find it, this is what you found. And this is why you might find it interesting. All right, moving on. We're going to go hit up video games real quick. Some video game comics. I'm a fan of collecting these, from the Ratchet and Clanks to the God of Wars to whatever I can find. I like finding these video game adaptations because they do pretty well. Cross genre, not genres really, but the fan bases. Like you're going to get video game fans who are going to want some comics, comic fans who like video games. You're going to get a couple of bites at the apple with some of these books, which is why some of them could be a little pricey. Like World of Warcraft, one of the most popular online games, I think probably ever, multiplayer online games. 2007, these 6 issues that I want to spotlight. The series ran for 25 issues, but what I want to first talk about is the first 6 issues featured covers by one of my personal favorites, Jim Lee. So, Jim Lee art on the first 6 issues from Wildstorm, World of Warcraft. Pretty cool, if you ask me. Like, look right at that cover. And then here's a couple more examples. Issue 2, there's issue 5 with the badass dragon. Issue 6, just great stuff. But again, I'm a Jim Lee homer, so I'm going to be a little bit biased. And these things do all right if you do find them. So if you can find them in a cheap box, you might do okay with them. I mean, I'm not saying to sell them for a ton, but $7 for issue 1. A run of them can go $30, and then looks like the first 6 issues sold for $35. So you get the Jim Lee collectors as well. And these aren't easy books to always track down, so just keep an eye out for them. $20 asking prices for issue 1 and 2, 15 for issue 1, and then other issues could be just as cheap as $4. Again, first 6 issues have the Jim Lee covers, and then it ran for 25, and you might want to look out for that final issue as well because, as we know, last issues can do a little bit extra. So, I think it's as is the case here. Again, not a ton. We're just talking about a few bucks. If you find this at a dollar bin, you might do all right. You can see runs 20 to 25, $30 best offer. 19 issues, I think. Or no, it's the full run, about $50 for the full run of 1 through 25. But then asking prices, $13 for this issue, $30, $20. Who knows? If you find it for like a couple of bucks in a back issue bin or in a dollar bin, this is what you found. That's what I'm telling you to keep an eye out for. So we're going to kind of tie in our next segment to these World of Warcraft Jim Lee books, and that's our later print segment. As you know, I like to talk about those second prints, those third prints, those later printings, because that's a fun little, niche in the hobby that you can keep, niche in the hobby that you can keep on collecting. And these first 3 issues of World of Warcraft did have black and white. I know I said I hate black and white covers as they go for second prints. I think it's lazy, but I caveat that with some of my favorite artists, I do like to see the black and white versions of their art with Jim Lee and Scott Williams. So then I don't mind it as much. So issue 1, black and white. We also get issue 2 and 3, as I said, on these second printings that have the black and white covers as well. Certain artists, I like it. The Michael Turners, Jim Lees. It's then I don't mind it so much when they go with the lazy black and white version for the second prints. But these things also can sell pretty inconsistently. $5 here, $15 there, are what some have sold over the last few months. And the same thing with the asking prices, $5 to $15, up to $25. So you don't know what you're going to find if you find them. I found these in dollar bins before. I have a few of these, if not all of these, and might even have extras because, I'm a Jim Lee collector, so I usually just grab stuff, even if I have it. If I'm not sure if I have it, I'll get more. So just one of those things. Keep an eye out for it when you're digging in those boxes. Just something fun for you to hunt and collect. Again, more later printings to move away from just the World of Warcraft, kind of taking that little segue. And now we're going to keep with our second prints and go to Fantastic Four real quick. So we have Fantastic Four issue 587. This is the second printing cover. I dig it. If you know what happens, this is when they go down to 3. Fantastic Four lost a member at one time. Granted, it'll probably be forever before we get that in any sort of movie adaptation, as we still haven't gotten the reintroduced first family of Marvel yet. But I'm looking forward to when we do. But still an interesting storyline when they went down to 3. And this is a Joe Quesada cover here. $4 is what one sold for recently online. When I say recently, that was back in August. So these are just oddball things you might find just in a dollar box or digging in a back issue, being like, oh, it's a later printing. And asking prices on this particular one can be like $8, $10, up to $25. So, you might do all right if you find one for super cheap. Just keep that in mind. This is the second print, and there's also a third print, which is one of those black and white covers that, not really for me. Nothing against Alan Davis. Don't get me wrong. It's just that's not one of my favorites, so not one of the ones I'm collecting. But 587, the third print. I believe this is the regular cover that's inside that poly bag, because I think the initial issue was poly bag because it was a surprise. They want people picking up the issue, flipping through. Who died? So here we got the black and white version on that third printing, and this one again is not going to be too bad. $5, one recently sold for asking prices in that kind of $5 to $10 kind of range. So maybe not so much the third print, but I think the second print has that the new art and the better cover. So I think that's why it's a little more desirable, or potentially more desirable. So keep an eye out for the second if you can find it, but don't sleep on the third. That said, the final issue of this series, and again, I like talking final issues. The next issue, 568 of that run before they restarted again, it started renumbering, is a second print where we see, Johnny missing from the Fantastic Four. And this is a pretty cool cover with the, the stark white background. It kind of, it works here. If not a completely white background, a completely black background also works with this image. But this is another one, second print, you want to keep an eye out for in those cheap boxes. Again, it sells for not a lot. It's not an expensive book. It's not like I'm telling you, you found a $100 book at this point. It's still selling for only $2 to $5. It's just kind of a fun little thing for you to go and find. Like, I dig it. And even online, you can get them as cheap as $2 up to like $13 are the asks. So that said, we're going to move to our final section, our little segment that I like to do for my personal nostalgia. So these are my nostalgia picks. I know a lot of you viewers out there are the same age as me. I'm in my mid 40s at this point, so the same things resonate probably with you guys that resonate with me. So these nostalgia picks are probably not just personal. It's probably for everybody. Most of you guys that are watching, also, and gals, all you guys and gals out there who are watching, probably enjoy and remember Crystar. And if you don't, well, I'm going to tell you about Crystar anyway. These toys were really cool. They were like gems against the magma rock guys, like the lava dudes. You had the wizard dude. I had this whole run of figures because I liked them. They were like GI Joe size, but a little bit more articulate as far as the points of articulation. Like you could bend at their elbows and their knees, whereas like a regular not GI Joe. Well, I mean they are the same size as GI Joe. They're not as articulate as GI Joe. I meant Star Wars, like the Star Wars. The more of those Kenner figures. But that said, not all of them had that same articulation. The bad guys, I think, more had the stiff arms and the stiff legs because they had the extra magma. But that all said, cool toys, and they also had comics. So I like to find the comics as well. Crystar, Saga of Crystar, the Crystal Warrior. And what I found also interesting is they tried to tie Crystar in with the Marvel Universe, as you can see here in this run, which ran for only 11 issues, mind you. A couple of the issues featured appearances by Doctor Strange in issue 3 and Nightcrawler in issue 6. So tying in the MCU, I want to say MCU, tying in the Marvel Universe characters with a toy property like this, I find, pretty interesting. So those ones are ones I particularly like to keep an eye out for, those issues. And these are not pricey books. Check your dollar bins for them. Check the back issue bins as well, but dollar bins is where you're going to find a lot of these. Hopefully not too beat up, but $10, and you can see a run run selling for like $13. It's 11 issues for the whole series. Asking prices could be anywhere from like $18 for like some newsstands, because people like to pay extra for newsstands these days. $10 for that Doctor Strange issue. But meanwhile, you can find some auctions for the complete run, the complete series, and then you can see some partial runs, like 5 issues for like $10. You can get these things in lots if you want to buy them online. But I'm telling you, go dig at your shops and see if you can find them for cheap. Once again, now, in the 11 issues, those are the fun ones to look for, but there is a gem of the bunch. I've talked about this book before, talked about it on Dollar Bin Digging before, and that is this issue here, issue 8, which has a familiar looking skull because it was used by a band. It was appropriated by the band Danzig into their logo and their design. So they took it directly from this Crystar comic. So Danzig ripped off Crystar for their logo, or, borrowed it, I guess you would say. But that makes this book, something a lot of people like to go and collect. It's always fun. It's tough to find. You'll find Crystar books, and this one's always missing because somebody already grabbed it. But this one does all right still, even to this day. $22 to like $40. Well, there's one for $13.50, but you can see it still sells, and even at auction, there are bids. 13 bids for $22. The 6 bids to get to $13.50. Asking prices anywhere from $35, $50, $45, $80. Somebody asking a whopping $2,000. $2,000 for a newsstand 9.8 of this book. That's a lot of money. I don't know if I'm not saying it's worth it. It's not worth it. Somebody buys it, then I guess that's the price. But $2,000 that's a steep ask. I'm just saying. Newsstand or not. But this is the one you would definitely want to keep an eye out for from Crystar if you can. Now, moving on to our last little bit, I'm going to hit up one more toy line real fast before we wrap up. I ran a little long because we had the little intro for the giveaway, but Sectars. This is another toy line. Maybe not. I didn't have a bunch of these ones. This wasn't my personal favorite of toy lines. Sectars are like insect men, but pretty cool. Still pretty cool. I had a couple, obviously. A little bit bigger. These were more like the sized, but like the Thundercats type figures. But these also have comics, an 8-issue series here. So if you're out there digging, you want to find some fun stuff, go and look for some Sectars books. There's issue 1 right there in the middle, and then we got 4, and then the last issue, issue 8, all things and ending. Again, these aren't expensive, but they're kind of fun to go and find and go and dig and hunt and pull out of a box. Individual copies can sell for like $3 to $5, and then look, the 1 through 8 set, $27 at auction. So not pricey stuff. Asking prices, meanwhile, $4, $14, $8. They could be all over the price, all over the place. I like finding these in dollar bins, and that's how I've gotten my run of these things. And you can probably find them there too. But If you want to pay a couple of bucks out of a back issue bin, have at it. It's a fun little thing to do, fun little thing to be nostalgic about and collect. But another thing you might want to look out for are the mini comics. Sometimes you can find these mini comics jammed into like those dollar bins and whatnot, or wherever you find the cheap stuff. Keep an eye out for the mini comics here. These things could be pretty collectible as well. These actually sell for a little bit better than the full-size issues if you can find them. I think these might have came with the figures, but these mini figure, I can't remember. I have to double check, refresh my memory. I mean, we're talking about the 80s here, 1984. You can see some of these can sell online for cheap, like $3, or they can sell for like $20. So that's what we're seeing here for these little mini comics. And then you can see $5 here, $5 there, $28 for a lot of three. Prices are all over as people try to collect the whole series. Good luck. Good luck to you if you try to. Just fun stuff to go and hunt. So that's what you found if you found an undersized little comic that says Sectars on it. It's the mini comics. But that's all I got for you this week. Again, make sure you go over to check out the IG for Stepford Wolf Comics. Make sure you give her a follow. Comment on the post that she's going to post about the giveaway. So this way we can track you down and put you into the wheel that we will be running for next show. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys through Friday at least to make those comments and get in on this giveaway, as I'm going to mention this the rest of the week here. So original art, 1/1 cover, Yoda. That's all you got to do to get it, is to just give her a follow and make sure you make a comment so we know that you're there. And if you're already following her, make sure you comment anyway. You just have to be following, and you got to comment so this way we know that you're in for the giveaway. But thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you checking this out. As I said, go take advantage of the giveaway. Get yourself a free book. I got more stuff coming your way. We got Chasing Ghosts coming up tomorrow, the tax show with some modern horror comics that we're going to tier list on Wednesday, Dollar Bin Digging, Mail Call Madness on Fridays, SNS, Saturday Night Special on Saturday, and then back to the Star Wars show on Sunday. And then we'll start it all again back with Hidden Gems next Monday, where we will announce the winner of this giveaway and get into some more really cool books. So again, thank you all. Appreciate you. And I will see you soon with some more content. All right, later.